Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Business Math. This is Module 4, so you're rocking right through this class. These 8-week courses, they go really quickly because even though it's an 8-week course, we only have 6 modules because of spring break and then the timing of finals. So you're getting very close to the end of this course. And do remember, though we have to acknowledge the time of finals, your final assessment will count as your final. So you don't have a final to be worried about in this course. In this section of the course, we're going to focus on 2 very important areas in business math, payroll and simple interest. This payroll section would be something, well, it applies to everyone because if you ever get a paycheck, which don't we all hope for that, it will help you understand some things about what's taken out of your check, if you're self-employed, how you need to handle that. But really, as far as the business world goes, if you move into like an HR type position, that this could be very helpful to you. We're going to start out with payroll. We're going to start with how employees earn their income, see their income. You're going to learn about calculating gross earnings with regular pay and then different type of incentive pay like commissions, bonuses. You're going to learn about factoring in overtime because there are rules, there are laws about how many hours people can work before it becomes overtime. These are all things that are commonly used in business and they help motivate performance and reward productivity. Then we're going to look at payroll deductions. These things are mostly mandated by law. They include things like federal taxes, Social Security, Medicare. There are sometimes some voluntary withholdings in different jobs that are offered to cover things for you, like insurance and things. These reduce an employee's take-home pay, right? You get your check and you see this amount is what you made, but that is not what your check is. And we've all seen that and dealt with that. And understanding those deductions and what they are and what they mean and how they work is essential for both employees and employers. Then we're also going to cover what the expenses are, what the payroll expenses are for the employer. Those are the additional cost businesses have to pay beyond employee wages. And I'm not sure that everyone is aware of that because your employer has to pay their part of your taxes and contributions. And that is something they pay that is above and beyond what they pay you as a salary. They cannot pull that out of your salary. They just have to understand that that is part of the cost of doing business, is paying those things for their employees. And that helps you see the full cost of employing workers, which can help you if you are ever in that position, or if you're ever just like wanting to run a small business and wondering, what beyond the salary is this going to cost me? We're also going to talk about self-employment tax responsibilities, because if you are self-employed, if nobody's paying that for you, it's still owed. Okay, so you need to understand that if you're working for yourself, how to factor it, how it's different, what the benefits and costs are of that. You'll learn how the taxes differ and what obligations self-employed individuals have when it comes to Social Security and Medicare. And then the second part of the module, they seem a little disconnected, but that's just how we made the class fit. All the information that had to go in the course fit in the 8 weeks, because in the second part of this module, you're going to shift to simple interest. Simple interest is simple, so it should be a fairly easy concept to get through. You're going to learn how to use the simple interest formula to calculate interest on loans and investments. This is going to include some understanding on principal, rate, and time, and how all those come together to give us interest. These skills are really important in business when you're dealing with borrowing money, investing funds, or analyzing financial decisions. Okay, so this should be an interesting module. It's not too difficult. As with other modules, you're going to have those practice quizzes after each chapter, and of course, you're going to end with your assessment. You're going to have 2 chances. Remember to, if you do poorly on the first go round, give yourself some time to study and learn the concepts that you missed on so that you can give yourself an opportunity to make a really good grade the second go round, because that is why I give 2 attempts on the assessment, is I just really want everyone to have the opportunity to be as successful as possible. Okay, guys, that's all I have for Module 4. If you need help, don't hesitate to reach out to me, and I will see you in Module 5.